Hi everyone, it's Mark here again. I'm the founder of the Arts and Culture Network, and I'm joined today by Ksenia. Ksenia is one of our new full members, based in the UK. Ksenia, thank you so much for joining me today to do this and for being one of our full members. Would you like to just say hello to everybody and talk a little bit about the work that you do?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. Hi, everyone. I'm Ksenia. I'm a cultural producer and a director of an organization called Izba Arts. So the work we do at Izba Arts is focused on elevating the Central and Eastern European cultural voice in kind of arts and culture, focused specifically on the fact that after Brexit and with the coming of so many refugees from Eastern Europe because of the war in Ukraine, how those communities don't have safe spaces to connect and to be heard, and that they're also not being included as much as they should be in culture. And actually, fun fact, just in London, according to the 2021 census, there's over 500,000 Central and Eastern European people. So it's a huge community, but they're very disconnected. And I think there's also a lot of inherent shame around being Eastern European. And many people are trying to overcome that, and they need safe spaces for that. So that's what we at ISBA Arts create through a digital publication. So it's a kind of a magazine that shares arts and culture research in this area. And we also run a range of events, and we're currently working on a Central and Eastern European festival as well. Outside of this work with the organization, I'm a cultural producer, so I've worked for a range of different organizations, including museums and galleries like Tate, Saatchi Gallery, and also worked in local government in Richmond and Wandsworth councils, running community festivals, huge community festivals, actually featuring 150 events over 2 weeks, and developing those festivals from scratch, kind of securing the strategic partnerships and fundraising through Arts Council as well. So yeah, broad range of work that I've been doing. And I'm also an installation artist. So in my personal practice, I make immersive installations about Central and Eastern European culture.
That's fantastic. Congratulations. You've got a lovely mission up there, to make it possible for those who are in here, us, to have a better understanding of the value of art created in and by those in Central and Eastern Europe, so that we can connect a bit better. That's an amazing stat. Half a million in London.
Yeah.
That's a sizable community, and so I think congratulations, you're doing some great work there. I was reminded once that had we not in the UK welcomed Freddie Mercury and his family as refugees, we would not have Bohemian Rhapsody. And um, there is opportunity being missed. There's a saying, isn't there? The best violinist in the world never picked up a violin. So it's about access and understanding and accepting the fact that we're different, and that is a joy and a wonderful thing to be able to mix up those different art forms and different cultures. So that's great. But yes, I can see that that kind of mission-driven intensity can be draining on your time and your own personal circumstances. So I think you've got three pillars. You've got the three legs of the stool. You've got the mission driven. You've got the work that you do commercially that you get paid for that allows that mission to happen. And then you've got your own installation, so that you're kind of closing the circle and you're actually creating some of that art. So that's fantastic. So well done, and keep going, as they say. We'll be publishing this interview, and it'll go on a profile on our website. And so who would be a useful contact for you? I imagine anyone who can help with any of those three things, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think, if anyone needs any production work, I'm always really happy to help. I'm, experienced in developing new projects from scratch and kind of onboarding partners, making sure that there's buy-in in the community for whatever project you might be planning. So I think that's definitely one of those things. But then alongside planning that project, I actually delivered the kind of full-scale marketing campaign for that, which was featured on the BBC. So I'm also a skilled comms person. So across those two things, as well as some fundraising to help with those projects, I'm kind of skilled across those things. So that's definitely a connection I might be looking for, is someone looking for those skills. Also, in terms of the organization, it would be anyone who is interested in partnering, anyone that's interested in Central and Eastern European culture, or anyone who's actually interested in inclusion, because the organization does have a consultancy side of the business, which is essentially focusing on connecting creatives and communities from Central and Eastern Europe with local governments or their local organizations, making sure that that inclusion is kind of at the forefront of anything that community-based organizations do. And I think, you know, this conversation goes beyond just that. We're working hopefully to include the Eastern European box as like in the diversity questionnaire. So that's kind of the bigger conversation we're having, is that being put in the white other box is, you know, erasing a lot of the discriminatory experiences that the Central and Eastern European community is having. And those discriminatory experiences are also within cultures. So I think our mission in that kind of consultancy side of things is to show organizations how this is happening and how they might be able to overcome it, you know, for themselves with our help. And we can connect them with creatives who can do some of that work and be engaging and be engaged, and are already, you know, at the grassroots level engaged with the Central and Eastern European community. And of course, if anyone is looking for immersive installations or artwork to exhibit, then I'm always around for that.
Great. There'll be links to lots of the things that you do on this. So I have a little task for us. Excuse me. As you know, I'm in branding and marketing and have been for a while. So I'm going to give you a brief. We're going to take a brief and we're going to try and solve the problem. Okay. Now you've used the phrase Central and Europe and Eastern Europe a lot. Now that comes with it certain preconceptions for many people. I know you mentioned that sense of awkwardness about coming from that area, you know, especially post Brexit. Is there a term or a phrase that can be used instead of that that's much more positive and new and exciting? I know the word diaspora is used sometimes, isn't it, to describe the dispersed community of an original place. I don't really like that word. It doesn't sound terribly. It's got awkwardness as well. So our challenge, and this might have to be one we'll come back to, is to come up with a word or a phrase that describes people from that area that's not Eastern Europe or Central Europe. So for example, I know it's got historical connotations, but I like it when people say Prussia, you know, or what used to be Prussia, you know, or Persia. They're not actually places anymore, but people kind of get it where it is. So or it could be the valley of the Danube, or whatever, you know, something that's got rather more artistic relevance, perhaps, and cultural. So this is our homework, and if anyone's watching this and they have the answer to this, please tell us. Is there a phrase that you use in alternatively, or no?
Well, there are several established terms. So there's CEE, which is Central and Eastern European, but it's short, you know, bite-sized and really understandable. So we normally say CEE community. And that, you know, and that doesn't have any really negative connotations, I think, but the problem is that, you know, not a lot of people know about the term. But the upside is that, yeah, once it's established, then, you know, you can refer to that region as that, which of course is putting us in another box, but that box is at least more representative of where we're coming from. So there's that. And then there's also, you know, community from the former Eastern Bloc. Super long, but this is, again, a territory that doesn't exist, or the post-USSR community, you know, that's something that doesn't exist anymore, but that encompasses not just Central and Eastern Europe, but also some parts of Asia. So that's quite important, I think, to be able to encompass them. And I struggle sometimes with talking about the Central and Eastern European aspect, because we are actually also talking about those territories that are not considered Central and Eastern European, that are Asian, that are part of that post-USSR bloc.
And they're included in CEE. Yeah,
Yeah, well,
yeah.
for our mission, they definitely are, but sometimes they don't identify as CEE. So it has been a bit of a challenge finding a term for those things, basically.
It's a struggle, isn't it? Because if you get that right, you change perceptions everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the heart of Europe as a
Oh,
phrase,
good. Yeah.
because that's got lots of emotion and positivity around it. From the
Yeah.
heart, I mean, the heart that if you worked out where Europe was and worked out where the actual middle was, it's going to be in Central Europe.
Yeah.
It's not going to be in France or Germany or Belgium or the UK. So let's start calling it from the heart of Europe.
I love that. Yeah.
There we go. The invoice is in the post. I'm on a mission to raise awareness for the cultural richness that emanates from the heart of Europe, right? So if you say the phrase heart of Europe, that's going to prompt people to ask more questions because
Yeah.
they probably don't know where the heart of Europe is. That's the other homework for next time, right? What city? Because I think in England, I think it's Nuneaton, right? Nuneaton is considered to be in the center of England. It's the furthest from the sea in every direction.
Yeah.
Where's that? Let's find out. Come on, let's ask ChatGPT to tell us. We're wasting time here, but this is fun. Um, right, let's see if this works. This could be quite fun, right? Right, what city is considered to be in the center of Europe? Let's see what ChatGPT and AI can tell us. Oh, we've got different centers. So the geometric center of Europe is um, Budalovska in Slovakia.
Uh-huh. That's good.
That's good. The historical and cultural center is Prague.
Still good.
Still good. The symbolic center is Strasbourg in France.
Not so good,
Not
but
so good.
good.
Crossroads of Europe, Vienna is often called the gateway to Eastern Europe, but that's fine because that's not the heart. So the
Yeah.
geographical center of Europe is Budalovska in Slovakia.
Fantastic.
So we are working at the heart of Europe.
That's really good. Free marketing consultation, thank you.
Other large organizations pay a lot of money for that kind of thinking. I'm
Yeah.
telling you. But for you, it's a gift. There you go. So we'll start this again. Ksenia is a cultural producer, and she's on a mission to raise awareness and support the growth of cultural, the appreciation of the culture in the heart of Europe. There you
I
go.
like it.
Right, let's do a quick buzz around the world. We'll do this slightly differently because we've been nattering.
Sure.
Um, we're going to do the hot top 10, and then we're going to play the this or that game. So this often produces anecdotes. So it's a little, I don't know if you've listened to Desert Island Discs on Radio 4, where those celebrities choose 8 pieces of music to take to a desert island.
Oh.
This is similar, but it's across the arts and culture sector. It's your favorites, really, and why? So the first question, Ksenia, is do you have a favorite building?
Uh, yes. I'm stuck between two, which is tough. Either Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, because it's just absolutely magnificent, or the cathedral, I think it's the Cathedral of St. Basil, if I'm not mistaken, which is on the Red Square. It's one, you've probably seen pictures of it. It's got these beautiful kind of ornaments at the top of it, and it's yeah, extremely beautiful.
Opposite the Kremlin.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Okay, you can have both because
Great.
I'm feeling generous. And let's assume you're sitting outside one of those. Let's put you in Barcelona, and you're reading a book in a cafe. What's the book? It wants to be a book that's been with you all your life.
Ooh, that's really hard. Um, The Wizard of Earthsea. Have you ever read that book?
No, I
It's
haven't.
so good. It's actually not, it's not Eastern European at all, I don't think.
Mm,
Um, but it's incredible. I can't remember where the author is from, but it's absolutely fascinating. It's a fiction read, but it's very grown-up fiction. It's not like children's fiction.
So well,
Uh,
that was the Wizard of
Wizard of Earthsea.
Earth Sea as in sea or sea as in sea.
Sea as in sea. And Earthsea is one word.
Right. Okay. Nice.
It's
I'm going to
incredible. I
check that
highly
out.
recommend. It's very magical, but also very philosophical, and yeah, it's makes you think deeply about
Okay.
your.
So you're sitting there. We're actually doing the trip now. You're sitting there outside a cafe. There's you're in Barcelona, and it was La Sagrada Familia, wasn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah. Um, and you're reading your book, and you have a drink in your hand. What's the drink? It's sunny. It's 6 p.m. in June.
sunny, 6 p.m. in June. Probably an iced coffee.
Iced coffee. Okay. Um, and you've got some headphones on, and you're listening to some music. Okay. What genre are you likely to be listening to?
Oh, again, stuck between two. It's either soul, like R&B soul, that's what I like at the moment. But it could also be one of those things that's been with me through time. There's a Russian band that does folklore inspired music, but in like a techno way. It's weird.
Mhm.
I don't like techno myself, but because it's so heavily folklore based, it's very, very beautiful, and it's just very atmospheric because they use binaural audio to create this kind of sense of immersive experience. So yeah,
What's the name of the band?
they're called Sventa Sventana.
Sventana. Okay. Um, you're going to book tickets for a dance show in Barcelona. Okay. You can see whatever you like. It's a magical theatre. What would you like to see on the stage? A dance. You can have any dancer with us or no longer with us, any dance group or any dance style.
Ooh. I really like the Ballet Boys at the moment. They're based in Kingston and they've performed in Sadler's Wells several times. They're incredible. If you ever get the opportunity to see them, I really recommend, because as a person coming from Eastern Europe, we're very obsessive about ballet and like being able to jump high and being able to do things very technically. And in the UK, sometimes it's hard to find that. I'm not saying there aren't good dancers, but I'm just very critical, especially about ballet. And Ballet Boys are a contemporary collective. And so it's not necessarily ballet, it's like a blend of ballet and contemporary, but they're incredible and the technique is wonderful. And they make kind of also quite immersive shows and very interactive. And they're wonderful.
Great. They're from Kingston. Is that Kingston, Jamaica or Kingston in Surrey?
Kingston, UK. Yeah.
Oh, Kingston in the UK, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Kingston upon Thames.
Excellent. Great. Okay, what's your favorite sport to take part in or to watch?
To watch tennis, to take part in yoga.
Ah, nice. That's yes, yoga. I've been to I've tried. I do bed yoga. I, I do
Very
yoga.
important too.
I do stretching in bed before I put my feet on the ground.
Very
That's
good.
that's good. Um, and what about your favorite visual artist?
Ilya Kabakov, unfortunately recently deceased, but he was incredible. He makes immersive installation, unsurprisingly, collecting lots of found objects, and it's all inspired by kind of nostalgia, but also the challenges of growing up in the USSR. And there was an amazing retrospective exhibition in Tate Modern a couple of years ago, must be 5 years ago now.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, it had an immersive labyrinth where he was singing a romance, and there were letters from his mother about the challenges of her life that she wrote to him. And yeah, it's extremely beautiful and extremely touching. And also just makes you think kind of outside of where we are now, because it really takes you out of kind of the European context.
yeah. I've found some. I'm going to share my screen so you can tell us which is your favorite. There we go. These look fantastic.
They're incredible. So I really like the pictures of the first three images. I think it's called The Man Who Flew to Space. So it's an installation where there's this kind of spring, and around the room there are Soviet posters. So it's kind of like catapulting yourself out of that world. but also being so embedded in it and it being within you as well.
Those are just great. I love those. These,
Those
yeah,
are so cool.
I'm not familiar with this. So this is, and is this him here?
Yes, that's him and his wife. They worked in tandem for most of their life. She is an artist as well, but I think towards the end of his life, she was supporting him quite a lot with making the work and exhibiting the work.
Fallen angel there.
Yes.
Brilliant. Okay. So if anyone wants to check it out, it's Ilya Kabakov. Brilliant. Excellent. Okay. Thank you for that. That's new to me. I'm going to have a good look. Um, what about a favorite play or musical?
Oh, I feel like that's also quite difficult. Um, hmm. Giselle by Akram Khan, also at Sadler's Wells. I love Sadler's Wells and I love Akram Khan. Incredible choreographer and director. Yeah, it's beautiful. And he put Giselle on, I think, for the first time maybe 5 years ago. And then it was back last year. It's very, very good.
Excellent. Favorite film?
Um, oh, I think it might be Jane Eyre. There was one particular rendition of Jane Eyre that is from the BBC, and it's kind of recent, must be 7 years ago now or something to that effect. It's a very good version of Jane Eyre.
Nice. Um, and Hero Lunch. Okay, this is one you've got a 2 hour lunch at a Michelin star restaurant in London. You can invite anybody and that person will come. So who would you like to spend a leisurely 2 hour lunch with?
Ooh. Um, Possibly Stephen Bartlett. I feel
Okay.
like he's quite an exciting storyteller. And so I think for me, he's interesting from that perspective. Like he's very good at comms. So I think it would be interesting to pick his brain about like businesses and telling stories because I think he doesn't always pick the most viable business, but he picks the one with the most viable story. And I think
Hmm.
that's where my organization sits. So it would be really interesting to pick his brain about, how we can tell that story really well in a way that's palatable to more than just the heart of Europe.
Nice. You brought that right back round. That's great. So thank you so much for doing that. I love doing these preference ones because it's a lovely way of learning more about what you and pulling out some anecdotes, which is great. Thank you so much for doing this. This is great. Thank you very much for being one of our full members. This will go on our YouTube channel. We'll write a profile about you, probably called The Heart of Europe now. And that will then be pushed out to all of our members all over the world. So Ksenia, thank you so much for doing this today and for being one of our full members.
Thank you.